Hey guys, kinggath here with episode 18 of my Sim Settlements 2 and Chapter 2 Let's Play series. This is an edited down version of a live stream I've done already, so if you want to catch the full stream, there's a link to the full playlist below. This would correspond with week 18 of that Let's Play series. Alright, let's get into it. Hello, Teresa. Wait, what's going on here? There's supposed to be a... Oh, I forgot to listen to the frequency. Ha! I just knew what was coming. Well, at least she's out there where she's supposed to be for it. So we'll go ahead and quickly listen to this, just in case. Sometimes I try to make it so those frequencies you can skip, but I don't. Not all of the quests allow it. Some of them you have to listen to it.
Something I need to talk to you about. Hey, what are you doing up there? You want to brace something? You don't got an order, Doc.
Sorry, I'm just setting something up.
Well, if we're all still in one piece by the time we get here, I'll meet you in the atrium by the big globe thing. See you soon.
Hi.
Hey, Fancy Pants.
Why are you here?
Oh, that was a dick way to ask.
For a while, but
sometimes the tones
know.
of the player
seem right
lines,
no more.
I don't think don't
So,
give the exact
I came back
intent
here.
that the writers were hoping.
this feels like where I'm meant to be right now.
As is one has very
Lots of
little
good
story
news to
content
share.
unless you play Conqueror.
Hub is fine. In fact, it's better than fine. Don't ask me how or why, but the gun has actually finished repairing it. And they even started adding some upgrades.
What sort of upgrades are we talking about?
Well, I'm not entirely sure. The upgrades look to be unfinished. Although I did notice all the new parts seem to be Vaultec brand, which did have me a bit concerned. But I've double-checked everything, and there doesn't seem to be anything nefarious installed. So I see no reason not to leave the upgrades where they are. Maybe we could even try turning them on at some point. You see, I think we should stay here, in the plaza.
Okay. Care to elaborate?
Well, think about it.
I still got that stupid
It's got
helmet on.
real
I've had it on the
hardwood
whole
floor.
game. I think that was the one
It's
Jake gave
glowing
me.
sea adjacent. It's certainly a step up from the hardware store. And I don't suppose you've noticed what's on top of this place?
You tell me.
Well, on the plaza's roof is a huge antenna. It probably used to beam news to every home in the Commonwealth. It's got a massive broadcast range, something the gun has made good use of.
Sounds useful.
Now you connect something like the plaza antenna to the comm hub, and you got yourself a match made in heaven. With the gunners gone, we'd be fools not to use this place ourselves. That's why I think we should move our operation here. Begin to really scale things up. Maybe even start bringing in outside help. With a little effort, we could turn this place into a real headquarters. So, without
please let me
further
know.
ado, allow me to introduce what we've dubbed the comm array.
This thing is so beautiful. This was made by a guy who helped us out with a bunch of art, Jonathan, and I cannot say his last name for the life of me. I think it looks like Camacho, but I don't know. I don't think that's what it is. But anyway, Jonathan did this awesome design for the comm array. Love this piece of equipment. And then Sebo took it and created all sorts of crazy animations with it. Have you ever wondered why you can play with all this stuff? It was because Sebo, who I always call our technical animator, just had fun with it. Just added all sorts of cool little things you can play with. We'll probably use it for like a quest puzzle in Chapter 3 or something, like something where you have to like fix something with the comm array. But most of this stuff is just for fun to tinker with.
What I've seen so far is pretty impressive.
Really? You're not just being polite, are you? Hey, you should try connecting your Pip-Boy to it. Just connect your adapter plug to the port there. Go ahead, it won't bite. Nicely done. You just upgraded your Pip-Boy's firmware. Thanks to a little creative programming by yours truly, your Pip-Boy now has a direct link to the comm array. Which means... Are you kidding me? Again? This has got to be the 4th time today.
5th, I think.
How many times do I have to tell him? At this point, He's gotta be doing it on purpose.
What's going on?
Sorry, I'll just be a minute. I gotta go take care of something.
The light leak on that hurts my soul. Come on, Bethesda. Come on.
Do you have any idea how dangerous that is?
I don't answer to you. Besides, it's not my fault. I asked you to fix me up a generator hours ago.
Well, I'm sorry, but I've had more important things to do than help you play with guns.
What's this all about?
After I shared my plan for us to move in here, Aiden decided he wanted to stay as well. I said that was fine, providing he followed the rules.
Your rules, not mine. And just who put you in charge anyway? You can barely keep the lights on.
I never said I was in charge, but, well, someone's got to give the orders around here.
And that someone is you, is it?
Well, it sure as hell ain't gonna be you.
Be patient. You'll work it out.
Huh. You know, I wouldn't actually mind taking orders if it was from someone like you.
For once, I think I might agree with Aiden. You would make a good leader. And if we're gonna turn this place into a real headquarters, we're gonna need someone who can make the big decisions.
All right, let's go talk to Lupe. So this little conversation right
Did you
here.
go check on Jacob? Make sure he doesn't get too angry.
Hey,
Hey, so how was it? Did you like the music? Was the confetti a bit too much? Well,
Okay, so that line right there, and when you hear the radio drama, you hear like Lupe and Jake doing something like tinkering, and he's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! You're gonna knock it down." So what was written for the story, but it wasn't. So it was one of those things that came up in conversation, but it wasn't in my notes for making it, for making the quest. And I got to, or if it was, I was at the point in development where I didn't have time to read it in detail over the notes. But what was designed to happen there is confetti was supposed to fall down and music was supposed to play. Well, I ended up doing the music from the UI state, so you get that like dramatic Fallout reveal music, and then the thing turns on. But what was meant to happen in the story was after all that big reveal, then you get an in-game version of it of like a little radio going dun, da, 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 and like playing some like celebratory in-game radio music, and then confetti coming down as if Lupe was revealing it and making it a big deal. And that's what she's referring to. And that's one of those things where I'll go back and add, because it'll kind of like, I think it'll be a funny moment after you get like the big like Fallout UI reveal where it's like, showing you all the music and the thing slowly turning on, and like it's meant to be dramatic, and then we break that dramatic moment with the silly confetti coming out of the the lunchbox style confetti. I think it'll make for a fun moment.
here. It's my own personal thank you. If it wasn't for you guys, I'd still be fixing clogged plasma rifles for the gunners. I hope you like it, and I'm really excited to see what we do with this place. I think we can really turn it into something good for the Commonwealth.
So one day when I patch in that gift, all of you guys who did that conversation, you'll get a pop-up as soon as you launch whatever patch it is, and all of a sudden you'll have a shiny new plasma rifle of some sort. I don't remember the specifics of what it's on there, but I've got it all jotted down.
Hello? Testing. 1, 2, 1, 2. Hey, can you hear me?
I hear you. Loud and clear.
Right back at you. I got so distracted by Aiden, I forgot to tell you about your Pip-Boy's upgrade. Well, better late than never. So, congratulations. You are now the proud owner of a fully functional two-way Pip-Boy radio. No more tuning into pre-recorded broadcasts. Now you got the direct line. You can contact anyone at the HQ, whenever you like.
This thing was a gamble. So this, and it still is. I know some people have some bugs with it. We've discovered that there are some mod conflicts with it, which we've got to work a solution out for. But this was one of those things where I'm like, in my head, I was like, I know I can do this. Like, I know I can make the engine do what we want for this, to make this work. But I didn't have any of the pieces, and so I just told Sir Rick, I was like, just assume I can make this work. And I waited until way late in development of Chapter 2 to get this working. But we had been planning this from the beginning. This is another thing, one of those things where we kind of like, a lot of the writing was all around radio towers and radio frequencies and stuff. And it was like, this to me is one of the biggest problems with a character like Preston or any type of like hub in a game, in an MMO, or I'm sorry, an RPG, where you have to keep going back to a character over and over again. It gets so irritating over time. I mean, it's like, we can solve that. Like, we have radio audio technology, like let's let the player talk to our NPCs from anywhere.
Okay, you want to beef up security around here. I get it. But are mines really the way to do that?
Hey.
Oh, there you are. We were just waiting for Mansfield.
Is he here yet?
No, not yet. So you did tell him where he'd be working, right? Like he knows to come to the plaza.
Honestly, I completely forgot about
I
it.
think this little section was cracking a joke about how we don't have any, we didn't have any player dialogue lines to handle that
That
situation.
must be him now. Hey, over here.
We'd better move out. Good luck.
Thank you for your help. A safe journey back to the vault. Hello. Nice to meet you all. I'm Mansfield, former Deputy Overseer of Vault 81.
All right, go ahead.
Now, watch carefully. You there.
Yeah?
Congratulations. You're a janitor. Grab a broom and get cleaning.
Oh, okay.
There. You see? That wasn't so hard, was it?
It still cracks me up.
Believe it or not, most of us know how to clean.
The state of our current surroundings would beg to differ. How'd you even allow things to deteriorate this badly? Who's the head of facilities?
We don't have one. In fact, we don't really have no heads of anything.
No department heads? No wonder you're in such disarray. You can't expect to run a facility without clear, predefined roles. Usually in a vault, department heads answer directly to an overseer. Which I suppose in this case would be you, yes?
Yes, that's right.
Well then, we'll be relying on you to direct each department as you see fit.
Let's do this.
Yes. Well, please, proceed at your leisure.
Hey, Chief. If it's okay with you, I'm gonna go find us a proper meeting room. I mean, this atrium's nice and all, but I prefer someplace less drafty and with better seating. Come on, kid, you're helping.
I am? Oh, okay.
All right, first up we got our facilities department. So there's a lot to talk about here because this was a really complex thing to design because we came up, we had one idea for it originally, and then it had to evolve as we tested it and ran into gameplay issues. Like for example, originally each department was going to have a max number of people. So just like you guys start building out departments, but we realized like, well, let's think of this beyond our quest line, right? The system has to work regardless of the quest lines being played, because at some point in the future, I'll eventually make it so that you can just skip right to HQ without doing quests and just make it like a blank facility you play with. Other add-on authors can take the HQ code, make their own places. So if you think about it like an RTS, your facilities department's like your worker guys, right? Like your peons in Warcraft, or your SCVs in StarCraft and playing Terran. And if you had to have rooms built to up the max so that you could have any, well then you would never be able to build anything if you need that for your workers. So then facilities becomes the default department. Anybody can exist there. So that was like one of the first things that came about, that where we had to change from our design after we started like putting the rubber to the road and started playing around. So that's kind of the purpose of your facility departments, your worker drones. So what we started with was basically we wanted as few elements unlocked as possible to start, because this is a lot to take in. You get all those pop-ups, all these different options, so we trying to start it with just one. So there's one point where it changes, like right here. If you played this before like the 2.10 patch, you would just do this and it would exit you out of workshop mode, and that would be the end. But now it does this. It says what should it be used for. So I used to have it set up to where if there was only one option, it would just select that option automatically. And the reason that we changed to that was because one of the number one complaints we got is once you get done with the first part of the tutorial, where you're unleashed to just do whatever you want, and you need to build living quarters, it's not obvious where the living quarters are, so you need to be able to like try cleaning a room and see if living quarters is an option, and then be able to cancel out. And so if a room only had one option, it would just automatically clean it, and you wouldn't get a chance to back out to find a living quarter. So this is a small sacrifice the tutorial had, where it's got this confusing part where it's like, wait, what am I supposed to do here? And I thought that was a worthy sacrifice for the next part of it, of the solving the living quarters crisis. Players don't have to do all this crap. Like, you don't have to run around scrapping everything. It's like the NPCs do it for you, which is nice. But we also ended up using the clean to solve another problem. This will probably explain to those of you guys who understand a little of the mechanics of sim settlements. You'll understand why we made this next choice. So from a technical perspective, each of the rooms is basically a plot that is exactly shaped to the size of that room. So that's why a lot of the room designs can be repeated in the rooms that are the same size. So what the room clean does, and when it pops up that thing that says like, hey, what do you want this to be used for? What you want this used for behind the scenes is basically saying, you're telling it what type of plot to use. So from a more technical background stuff, so the way that HQ actually works, it actually uses the layout code from Workshop Framework. So each of these room designs is actually like a series of tiny little city plans, effectively, that get layered into the room. All right, there we go. Set up living quarters, and let's check our room details. All right, and then here it comes into the jobs. So the jobs were one of those things where it almost got cut. This was actually something that Baron, who coded the framework of HQ, came up with. And then during development, when I was fleshing it all out and like actually implementing it, I was like, I think we have to cut that. I think it's too problematic. And I was explaining my reasoning. But then when it came down to it, it was like, I really like this system, and I'm glad we ended up sticking with it. I think it was a great idea of Baron's. But I think it was before I came up with the solution of, oh, we just make one department have unlimited jobs. Like then that opened up, okay, well then we can do jobs. I think that was part of the discussion of why we couldn't have the caps on with the department jobs. I think, but the facilities being open solved that for us. I have one of the things I got to keep poking one of our graphic designers about this is I came up with a way to like more easily explain the HQ system that I could tell you the words for, but I think it would be easier if I had a visual to explain. But it's and so I'm not even going to bother saying it, because without the visuals, I'm just going to confuse you all. In fact, I'm sure me explaining the HUD without you being able to see what I'm pointing at didn't help anything. Oh, Nukasal, the wiki page does a good job explaining most things about the HQ. That's awesome. I'm glad. Thank you, Sasori and Veda and whoever else has been involved with that. Thank you guys for documenting that, because it's been a struggle to communicate it all. Like I said, I have a way now, but I need a graphic artist involved to communicate it effectively, I think.
Take it easy. I'm listening.
Our building supplies. We used them all up. We can't do no more projects.
I'm surprised you didn't have more materials on hand. Has there been some sort of disruption to our supply chain? Oh, let me guess. We don't have a supply chain.
What's the plan?
Well, guess we should go find someone to ask about supplies. Hey, you know who we should talk to? Hubert and the others. I bet they'd be willing to send some supplies and materials our way.
I'd be glad to talk to them.
All right. I'll meet you there.
If you can get the supplies, I'll make sure they're all organized and stored properly. That way we can use them as soon as they arrive. I should get back to work. Hope everything goes well at the settlement.
Okay, I actually think this will be a good place to stop. I ended up talking way more than I expected about HQ. I'm sure you guys aren't surprised, but I think we'll pin it here, and we'll come back and pick up next week on it. I'm going to bring on Foxel in a minute, but I am going to take us over to the settlement where we're meeting them. So it's Sunshine Tidings.